I'ma get $1 million in the bank.
What up, y'all? I'm Torre, and this is Rap Latte.
And I am King Green, and these are deeper conversations about hip-hop. Today, give them the topic for this video.
I need to get deep into understanding why your man LiAngelo Ball
That's my
got
guy.
a 13 or an $8 million deal. I'm not sure which it is. It's either 8 or 13. I don't get it, but also he gets to own his masters. So what are they doing? I don't understand this deal. I don't understand why he got so much when he has, you said, one heater, one hot song.
Yeah.
For sure.
But it's hot.
Like,
it's got like 20 million plays already, and it's been like a week or something.
yeah, but shouldn't you have more than one hot record to get a deal?
That's not how that works. But let's talk about it. So this is the music business according to LiAngelo Ball, right? This is what this is. And what's funny about it, what I want to talk about is like this is all marketing and advertising, the way that it got pushed out there. Like he signs an 8 million guaranteed deal and 13 million possible. That's like a sports deal, the way that they're communicating it. That's not how the music industry works. When you do a deal, it's guaranteed. It's like, this is your guaranteed money. You know what I'm saying? You get options. So if he did a label deal or a distribution deal, that's what we got to think about. Is he getting a single deal where he licensed it? It's got to be more than that. Him having ownership of the masters, that's what they do now, in the sense of that it's like, oh yeah, you own it, but we license it for a certain amount of time. So that's just a workaround from the old way of saying that we own your masters.
So wait, so this is an important thing.
Yeah.
So now they let you own your masters, but you license them to them, or they license it from you for the period of time that is most likely to make money.
Make the money, exactly. And now they're not doing 360s per se, but let's explain the music business. There's a song. A song is a master and publishing, right? The master is the recorded song. The audio that you hear, whoever first uploaded that file, that is the master file. Used to be a master disc, right? That is the master file. Now the publishing is the idea of the song, right? The concept of the song. Right. So he signed it, and that's 100% of mastering, 100% of publishing that exists. He signed this deal, and most likely this Def Jam got his publishing license and a master license. They probably don't own it because you don't usually own someone's publishing on a deal, but you have to get your recoup. So it's like, we want to license your publishing and we're going to be in cahoots with you for this many albums or this much time period. It could be 5 albums. Go ahead.
They gave him $8 million in expectation that his album sales, his streams, his publishing will make them probably at least twice that much.
Yeah. So, like, I mean, it's already at 20 million plays. You put some fire on it, you could get that to the hundreds of millions, and $8 million is worth it because we're talking about a song that every sports person is putting it on their TV show already, right? They're already playing it in locker rooms and all that type of stuff. Where do you get the bulk of money from your music? Is catalog. That's the business I'm in. You get your song in a Madden, you get your song on TV shows and movies. Films are gonna get you upwards from $100,000 to $500,000 for like an advertisement or a film, right? Then these little spots on TV and stuff like that, you could do anything from low as 500 to like 10,000, 15,000, sometimes even 30 for these sports things. If this is a big sports hit and has a lot of syncability with advertisements, all that stuff, you can make double that $8 million off of all the syncs and mastering. It's possible. It's possible that a song that, if it gets that big, can do all that. Then rotation on the radio, they're making the money back. So the $8 million deal does feel astronomical still. But
it is a big deal for somebody with one song.
The one song doesn't matter. It's the place where the song is at for me. You could easily do an $8 million for one song that's already has like 60 million plays and then someone signs you, because it's not about the song, it's them having faith that they can make money off a song and they want licensing and ownership of all your new material. So him owning the masters, yeah, you might get it back, but that doesn't mean that anything that you make, though, you got a license to us.
What it used to be that you did not own the masters, that the labels own the masters. Why did it change that now the artist owns the master, but then has to license it? The label licenses it, so the label is getting the best life of the master.
Because the master
anyway.
doesn't.
How does that change?
The master's almost like a concept now. The master doesn't. So you're uploading a file and streaming. They get their money from the streaming. The labels get all their money from the streaming, a bulk of their money from the streaming component. And a lot of artists have been talking about, I own my masters, and how valuable it is to own your masters in the beginning. So it became a talking point and a changed conversation within contracting, right? So the lawyers of the artist versus the lawyers of the label are like talking, and then he's like, he wants his masters. The thing is, your masters or ownership doesn't matter if you do not know how to make money off of it, right? If you're not having a sync team push it so the catalog could, oh shit. Hit the wrong button. All right. If you don't know how to make money off the master and publishing, it's kind of worthless. It's just you own it, but it's not making any money off of you. So the change happened because of technology changing, because streaming being the most revenue that these companies are getting, or changed from the physical product, as well as it being a talking point for the artists. So that's really where the change is, because they still talk about first week sales, right? That doesn't even exist. First week sales are a fictitious concept that 1,500 streams equals one album. You just made that up. So now you said you sold one album because 1,500 people listened to it? That doesn't even make sense when you really think about that. So it's like, oh, this person sold 300,000. No, let's talk about what really happened. They had like 1 billion streams. Why are we not talking about what app? Because you're getting paid off of the streams. If someone has 1 billion streams, they get the money that's worth. Why are we talking about sales?
Do you think this signing represents? I mean, is this good for the industry? Is this you don't think this is a bad story as far as like, how are we signing this guy? Like, he's a real rapper to you, and this is a fair deal to you.
To me, first of all, I don't know what a real when we say real rapper, it's like the guy raps, made a good hook, invoked the early 2000s.
He's committed to being a rapper as opposed to some sort of gimmicky, I have some fame, let me see if I can. I'm
okay with it either way. Personally, I'm okay with it either way. This always happens. Like the cream, I believe the cream always rises. Like I always believe that just happens. And this person is he's a personality, comes from a family of like a dad who's a marketing genius, and they push this song, which is a good song. Like, it's fun and it's exciting because of how different it is. The fact that like they understood the meme of the song, like they understood what they were doing. You can't like deny the fact that it's like, yo, I want to make a song like this. They could have easily done something like Lil Baby or a trap song or what people think is hot right now, went a completely left field way and made something work and used their connections to make the song work. There was money behind it. There was connections and telling people to play it and all that type of stuff. And it worked because I don't think it's a bad thing, just because like that's like saying Saweetie or anybody who got signed off of IG. That's like saying Doechii would be a bad thing because people thought Doechii was just some TikTok artist, right?
Wait, you think that the Balls threw some money into the promotion of this? They payola it themselves?
The song was like on World Star. Yeah, I mean, you use money to promote the stuff. There was some money behind it. I'm not saying like they threw all $1 million on it, but there's money behind it. There's people promoting it. The way that song blew up, it's connections and money. That's how that happened. And obviously the song being good, because I'm one, you know me, I made a TikTok saying I like the song. I'm saying you have a good product, you market it correctly with your connections and bread, and that's what happens. And then it was able to do it. They had the right angle too. Nigga didn't make a music video. They just put the song out and had teammates and athletes promote the song. Made the shit go.
It's not a 360 deal, or
I think it's a new age 360 deal the way they do these things. Like I said, I might not own you, but I need to license your master and license your publishing. If you're saying 360 in the sense of his likeness, probably not. It's probably not a traditional 360 in any way. I'm saying that.
Well, I'm curious why 360s seem to have gone away or receded, because it used to be a 360 degrees of your content. Everything you do, I get a piece of, be it a tour, merch,
The reason why
album, stream, whatever. And you're saying that, like, why is that not the case anymore? That we're saying we want all of it. They're going to take part of it, but not all of it.
Let me simplify it with the history. First, it starts off as I sign you, you give me your record. I make all the money off of the record, and I give you pennies of the dollar on sales. That's how TLC said, this is how I cannot be rich, because I only get a point on the royalty, right? That's the old music business and how it started, right? Then they weren't making money because of Napster and shit like that and all the downloads. So the blog era and right before the blog era, it's just ringtones and nobody's selling anything. So they made 360s to get people, to get money. They needed revenue. So they were like, yo, when you go out on tour, we want a piece of that. When you go out on the do this commercial, we want a piece of that. They wanted a piece of, and you're publishing. We want a piece of all of this because we made you famous. Like, that's their way of trying to remedy it, right? Now, music sales are probably only a few million off of the highest peak of music, which was like the early 2000s. So it's almost back to where it was. But a lot of companies are making more profit, actually. But the actual revenue is almost back to where it was. But the profit's actually higher for a lot of companies because they have less to do. I don't have to house records and CDs and cassettes and all that. I just upload to Spotify and get all this cash back, right? So now we can say that we're not doing a 360 and get all the money from the streaming and just give you money up front off the advance. And we take everything from streaming, basically. You never see a check.
For most artists, streaming is the number one revenue source, right?
I would say for all mainstream artists, yeah. All
and what's
mainstream
number two?
Artists. The tours.
And what's number three?
After tours, I would say merchandise and brand deals.
And what's
brand,
number four?
because we all become. This is why I have the line in my song that don't be a rapper, be a YouTuber. It's like everybody's just a content creator in this world that has been digitized. So if you really look at yourself that way, you'll understand the streams. The brand deals always come. They're getting smart and figuring out the right people to go to with the brand stuff. Catalog is the most important thing when it comes to music since the beginning. That's what Paul McCartney told Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson went crazy. Michael Jackson was like, he created basically Sony ATV, right? Which is just one of the biggest powerhouse catalogs. So if you're making music that people can put in video games, TV, movies, that's where you're going to get the bulk of it when it comes to music, right? Now, a lot of times people give up that license or that rights, which I think is what happened on the Ball side, for a bag. Like, if you have a popping record, millions of plays, you could easily get $2-3 million from your publishing, and that's just the publishing. Now you can get $2-3 million from your master. Now you got $6 million. So Ball being who he is and how the song's going, it's possible that could have gone to 8. You know what I'm trying to say? So it's still crazy, but I love how they framed it. 8 million guaranteed, 13. Like what the hell is that even saying?
But they're creating buzz around him. You think this is a truly promising artist who might stick around a little bit?
You know what? I stopped judging artists in that way ever since Lil Wayne. Because I'm like the same age as Lil Wayne, maybe a little younger, a year or two. And I'm looking at Lil Wayne in these Cash Money videos, and then him coming on a song, and I'm like, oh, he ain't really spitting. He's just like, you know what I'm saying? I like Juvie better. This is me at 14 years old. Then Lil Wayne becomes the Carter mixtape Lil Wayne and Carter series. I did not understand that this person could be this person. Lil Wayne is a spitter, but comes to find out, he was that all the time, but they wanted him to like put this other type of music, but he was at home really spitting bars and writing his bars. Same thing with Childish Gambino. First album, I thought this nigga was corny as fuck. If you really listen to the bars on that album, they're horrible. They're like weird punchlines about like having, it's just weird punchlines. His punchlines were weird. I didn't like the songwriting because the internet changes my mind. And he had the perspective of like, yo, I need to have this respect and do something because the internet, the album Awaken My Love, everything in his TV shows, his whole direction almost seemed to change, where it's like, I'm going to do what I want and be credible. And that happened, but I didn't think that could happen. So for me, you have no idea who Gelo Ball could be. I honestly believe that. I honestly believe that you have no idea. It could be another run of the mill, the guy just hitting a lick, which it seems like it's just a nigga hitting a lick. Like, yo, I was balling before. I made some songs. I made this song. Let's try to see if it can get popping. And you hit a lick, or it could be a run.
Yeah, that it hit a lick. Surely. Okay, so he drops the record. It pushes out. It does numbers. It's streaming. It's hidden radio. What have you? People like you are like, we like the shit. Someone at Def Jam.
So you don't like the song?
I'm not. I'm making no. I'm making no commentary on the quality or lack thereof of the song. I make no comment on the song. So somebody at Def Jam heard the record and saw the numbers, saw the story, right, and was like, right. This shit is hot. We need to get behind this shit. And they call, presumably his father, and have a meeting. Now, surely at the meeting, they have to have played other records, right? Like they have to have said, what else do you have? It can't just be one lightning strike. Like, can you play like 3, 4, 5 other records? And he had to be able to say, yes, I have other things that I've, because most people who walk into Def Jam, there's a mixtape, there's something. The 80s was different, but like since this became a multinational corporation or owned by multinational corporation, you have to have some track record to walk in the door to get a deal, much less a big deal.
Yeah, nowadays, yeah. I mean, back in the days is when people actually got signed off of talent. Some people just because it was like, oh, this person sings very well. Let's put them through artist development and get them to a place, but they already signed them, right? That happens. Like I'm thinking about the Tony Braxton story and all that type of stuff. But he had to have played songs. There had to be more music involved in the deal. And he didn't get $8 million for one song, but he got $8 million. He got money because one song. So the stats show that there's motion there, and then there's a narrative and a story behind it. Those are the only two things that a record label cares about. Do you have a story and do you have motion? Is there numbers that support your story? Then we could just run with this. He could make sports songs.
The motion is the numbers. We can see the streaming and the adoption of the record all over the place. The story is what? Brother of NBA stars makes a record and it's interesting. That's what you mean by the story?
The story's there. The entire family has a story. Their whole narrative of their progression, how a father willed them into this place. One looks like they didn't make it. He said all 3 of my sons are gonna make it. One looks like he didn't make it and couldn't ball, right? And he pivots and is supported by their brothers, supported by the athletic community, because it's like, oh, look at what he's doing now. He's not giving up. It's an underdog perspective on the music and who that person is. Like we don't want you to lose.
When you say story, you kind of mean the elevator pitch behind the artist. So like when 50 was first coming up and we never heard of him,
he got shot 9 times.
It was he got shot 9 times, right? So that's a compelling story, right? Or like he comes out of the same hood as Kendrick Lamar. Okay, now I'm ready to listen, right? Like that's like a story. Okay, right. I mean, so Kanye had a story. Not everybody gets a story. Kanye had
everyone who doesn't get the story doesn't get as big.
Well, I feel like Jay-Z didn't have a story.
Yeah, he did. He created a story.
maybe I'm missing it because from the first album, the story was he's actually a hustler and this is going to be his only album. Is that the story?
That is, yeah, you just gave it straight up. And he's taking Biggie's from hustler to player and mogul and rapper. That story that Biggie put out in the world.
That's later, Jay.
No.
Album 2, 3. That's
no,
not
but
album
that's the
1,
story
baby.
that he connected himself to. He took that narrative and archetype. Well, the archetype. That's the archetype he connected himself to, and then he became the bearer of that archetype. And now everyone had that archetype after him. That became like a standard only after Jay-Z. Like
No,
people,
but
you
I
didn't
mean,
when
like,
Biggie was there, you didn't have Biggie's story.
But I'm like, how do I get a deal? Motion and a story.
You personally?
And-
well, first you gotta be able to rap.
Just any MC. How do I get a deal? Right? I gotta have a story. I gotta have a record, a story, and motion. Right? There's things that are happening already. The streets already like me. Right? There's already a community behind me. I mean, creating the story seems like some of the hardest part.
Creating the story that's the hardest part of this whole thing. People don't get that. That is the hardest part of this entire business, is having a compelling story and then being able to communicate that story. The thing is, anything can be your story too. So like we said, Kanye he got hit, his jaw was wired shut, was a producer jaw wired shut, and he's rapped through the wire. He's still going through it. That adversity, because the struggle, the come up is the essence of black culture and black music. It's the come up. How do we go from this to celebration, right? How do we go to pain and struggle to celebration, right? And that's why a lot of the funny talk doesn't work for other artists. Whereas that's the whole presence of No Limit and Cash Money too. It's like, you know where we come from, and we out here balling.
How does this? He signs an $8 million deal with Def Jam.
Yeah.
How does that go? Do they wire him $8 million, or do they pay him weekly? Or
if it's truly a $8 million deal, let's say if it's actually $8 million, part of that is your record. Like half of it's usually an advance, right? So that advance gets paid half and upfront and half after you deliver a record usually, right? So when you deliver an actual album, it's like that. If it's just single licensing deals, because I've seen that deal before, it's a certain amount of songs, then you get the rest of it, right? So that's an advance. So part of it's an advance. And some of it is promotion and marketing and recording costs in the deal. So when someone shows you their whole $1 million deal, a lot of times you didn't get $1 million. Sometimes it's part of your promotion marketing deals. The artists that are smart, which you're supposed to do, which we didn't do the first one, but ever since then, any deal I ever had is like this. What you're smart is recording costs. Give me the money for the recording costs. I'm gonna handle that. Marketing, will handle the marketing, and then you siphon the money out of the label that way, if they allow it. But a lot of times they separate their marketing promotion and then the advance.
So yes, the $8 million
recording marketing promotion
probably includes his recording budget and his marketing budget.
Yeah.
And typically, what would be a normal marketing, a recording budget for a debut album nowadays for a rapper?
Debut album with that, and you got motion? I'm gonna say $1 million is the deal. I'm gonna say a good deal debut and all that stuff like that is $1 million to $1 to $3 million. But for real,
people are spending $3 million on their debut album.
No, you talking about the whole deal or just the recording of it?
Just the recording portion.
Yeah, people are spending $1 million on an album easily. Yeah,
$1 million.
We talked to Coda. He's spending $200 on his independent album.
Wait, what is the number one fee that gets you up to $1 million?
If you're still actually using the studio, because these rappers be really using studios still. So number one fee, I'm gonna go with features, production costs. Features and production costs are gonna be the heavy hitters. because the recording cost shouldn't be much. It's the it's the
Paying,
personnel,
paying the other people, paying rappers to rap on
engineers,
your records,
rappers, and
engineers
producers.
to jump to help you with your records.
Yeah, those things.
Right.
Because if you're really getting big names and stuff like that, like they'll try to do to pump up an artist, they get big names. That's why good companies like Gotti's company and all the Memphis artists, which is so good about them, is like they're all pumping each other up, and you're not paying astronomical fees for features.
What is it if you're LiAngelo Ball, assuming you don't have any special relationships in the industry to where Jay-Z's your friend and he'll just jump on your record? Like, that's not, erase that, right? What is he probably getting charged if he wants an elite MC feature? What if he wants a mid-tier MC feature? Like,
who?
So let's say he asks, I guess, Kanye, Tyler, or Kendrick. That would be an elite. Or let's say, I don't know, a Big Sean or a Meek Mill as a mid-tier.
Let's just use J. Cole and not go mid-tier. Let's use J. Cole because J. Cole's out here doing features, right? J. Cole's hitting you over the head if he don't know you. And let's say that he's doing anything from 70 to 100. That's possible. And you got to understand it too. Let's say you go to mid-tier and it's like it's 40, 50. A lot of times, it's not like this artist is getting that money in their pocket. The label's getting that money. A label's getting a chunk of that feature money, and that's why the number gets so high when you're talking about 50, 60, 80, because it's going to the label to like recoup or whatever they're getting, and then they get a bit of the money to the artist. That's why the brown paper bag feature has been a thing so much, where it's like, yeah, I'll jump on your song, and you just get, and someone takes $15K, $25K just to get the money straight directly to them. But when they're usually doing within the label system, it can get, the numbers can get real high.
Getting paid in cash to do features?
Hell yeah, especially back in the day. I mean, I get Cash App features all now. Like here's how you figure out your feature price, though. This is how you think about it. If I do a song and the song in a year earns me $2,500, like the average song will earn me $2,500, that's my fucking feature price. I'm putting my name on your song. If my average song, like my big song, might make me tens of thousands, right? But my average song is gonna make me $2,500 a year. I'm basically giving you the possibility of getting $2,500. So pay me $2,500. That's how you should charge your feature price as an independent person.
Some people have said to me, if you want a verse, that's one amount. If you want me to do the chorus or the hook, that's a different amount. And if you want me to appear in the video, that's a different check.
Oh, yeah. Especially if you have clout and motion. Let me think of somebody who's hot right now. Let's say I'm Doechii. I'm hot right now. I don't know you, but I like the song. And you want me to write the song with you? That's publishing. So now I need to have a high percentage of the song, and I need a good amount of pay. You want me to do the chorus and a verse? That's crazy. So now you got to hit me. Now I got to hit you overhead. So give me 25 for that. And then I'm pulling up to the video. This is like, I don't know you. This is not like a friend thing. I'm putting up the video. The label needs to make sure your label pays me to come pull up to the video. This is like, I would think this is like, say Young Thug doing the feature for, what's that girl? The girl that's racist now that they say. Camila Cabello. He's on that song. From my perspective, don't know their business, but I'm saying this is how it would work. He got paid by the label to show up to the video, got paid for the feature, and they got to pay for the wardrobe, all that type of stuff, and give me the video treatment. But I also got to get paid just because I'm there. I think for us, we had to pay. It's just like paying extras. You pay $500. For us, we had someone featured on a song, and we had to pay them when we were on the label. We were on Universal. And we had to pay them for the feature as well as we paid. They were supposed to do the video, and we were like, "Oh yeah, come to the video." But they were like, "Oh, we want like $500 or some stupid shit like that." We were like, "We don't need you in the video." Didn't even know and you couldn't even hear the woman's voice on the song when she was on the feature. It was like the labels will do crazy shit.
What are you paying to get What are you paying to get a name brand producer to make a beat for you, or to give you a beat that he or she's already made?
Yo, today that varies. Back in the day, you were paying like upwards of 300 grand just for a producer to pull up and try to make a beat. Now it could be
300.
yeah, like a
Wait a
Pharrell
minute. Wait a
Timberland.
minute. If you charging 300 and I gotta make a 12-song album. Right. It's got to be at least 12.
Yeah, that's back in the day.
Uh,
Like Neptune's Timberland's days, it was
that's
300,000 they was
millions.
hitting.
That's millions right there.
Yeah, but
Or
they
you
were
saying
making
that
that much.
you gotta mix and match between name brand producers and
Oh
next
yeah,
gen
that's how it was.
producer.
You would get one Neptune beat and you paid them 300 just to get the beat to you. That's not like they still own publishing and all that type of stuff. So you paid them 300. Your budget's 2 million. You already out 300,000. So now you got to pay this art. Now you're paying Kanye. Say when Kanye was lower, you paying him 25,000. Just Blaze 50,000. You know what I'm trying to say? 12-track, 15-track album because there were CDs back then. You are done. The rest of the producers, it better be your boy because you just hit them. So nowadays, it's more in the 25, 50s and all type of stuff, and they're getting points and all that. Or if you get and all these producers sound the same, so you get a just quality as the other guy for $4,000. You're getting a $4,000 beat and get the same thing. Or sometimes people get this shit off fucking YouTube. So paying astronomical amounts for a beat is the only reason it makes sense now is because you understand that person's working relationship and you guys you have a camaraderie, you have a style, and you also know their level of professionalism. So when you're in the industry, you pay for that.
It could be 200 or 300, but it's normally around 50 to 25,000.
Yeah, I would put it in that at the main level because I would say it's normally around 10. In between 5 and 15, if we're talking about just across the board, because people are being cheap with the beats. You ain't making your money off the beats like that, like you used to. I'm talking about the big guys be making that money.
He just has so many decisions ahead of him as far as, what records are we going to do? Who's going to produce? Who's going to be the features? Whether or not this is a hot album or he has more hits is still to be determined. So you just wonder.
You know what he needs to do?
What?
He needs to get Juvenile on his next track. Juvenile and Manny Fresh to do the beat. Supposedly his brother did the beat, right? So it's all in-house. So they own the whole thing. So that's why you would get a lot of money. If you make a song and it's all in-house, you are making a lot of money. A lot of times 50% is the producer and that guy's probably not part of your camp and the label's over here and someone owns the production company and that's how this shit got to the label. This got to the label with 3 guys that are brothers supposedly and they brought it.
Wait, so you said his brother produced the beat? Which one, Lonzo or
Mello? I think Mello, I think they said produced it and Lonzo wrote the lyrics.
The little one produced the beat? Who's killing
That's
the NBA
what I
and
heard.
He produced?
That's what I heard, but I don't know. That's what I heard. But the producer's in-house anyway.
I was watching a video of him yesterday hit 3-pointers from his back leg, barely jumping. He's ridiculous.
He's ridiculous.
But go on.
He's ridiculous. Yeah, so the producers are you were talking about like what you should do. Yeah, man, you get Juvie on a track. He has at least 3 more chances. Like to prove, like if he drops another one and we don't like it, we're gonna give him another chance. You know what I'm trying to say? He did one, and it was like somewhat gimmicky to people, somewhat fun, but we're rocking with it. He could actually make this a serious thing by dropping something hot, just like the other one. If he has a single, but it's by himself, and then pay a homage by having Juvie and them on the beat. On the track, it will work. It will work. It will work easily. It will work. If it's anything like the first one, and you validate it with artists from that time period, we're rocking with it. He's getting invited to the Super Bowl.
I mean, you know, I remember when this kid from Harlem who had a hot mixtape got signed for $1 million.
Yeah.
And I was like, why is this ASAP kid getting signed for $1 million? Like, what? And then you heard the mixtape, and it was like, that was interesting. And then he started to actually do his shit, and it was like, yo, this fucking nigga cannot be stopped. He's freaking ridiculous. So the $1 million deal made perfect sense. Perhaps in the near future, this deal will make sense. Right now, it seems like a lot. But the important point to remember as we assess the deal, they don't just hand him $8 million.
No.
Some of it is the production budget. Some of it is the promotion budget. Some of the recording budget. Is there another carve out budget within that?
No, that's what it is. I think when they said the $8 million to maybe throw about, when they said the $8 million is guaranteed, the only way that would make, not that would make sense, what that could make sense as far as what they're talking about, if it was an $8 million advance, $4 million up front, $4 million after you flush out the deal, then the 13. No matter what, that guaranteed statement makes no damn sense. I was trying to make sense of it, but no. But yes, you get advance means you get half of it up front, half upon delivery, and then you have a budget which includes your marketing, promo, and your recording budget. That's just how the business works. Advance and then budget. That's it. Advance comes to you no matter what, and the budget.
I mean, now, even though this number is 8, which is fairly high,
real.
After he finishes his album, he will be in debt to the label, will he not?
In debt in perpetuity.
Right. Unless he does like
he's never
Drake
seeing money
numbers.
from it in direct streams or something like that. No.
Right. Unless he does like some Drake number or some shit. After the first album, if he goes to settle up, they'll be like, you owe us money. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you didn't earn out.
It's not even owe us money. It's just that you just don't see the royalties. The way that it works now, it's like you're not. This earns money every year. They switched a business where music earns money every month. It used to be something that you bought like for once. Now music makes money every month. We just bought into your brand, and the stuff that we put fire behind, we're gonna make money for almost basically perpetuity. You can go do whatever you want.
That's an interesting change, and I'm curious the other impacts of that. That there used to be moments when you made money. You release an album, and there's a spike. You generate a bunch of money, and then a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less over time. This now with streaming and songs, you are generating money all the time.
You're generating money all the time. I had a big discussion with an artist friend of mine, and he was like, I'd rather sell 300 CDs than get 30,000 streams. I was like, that's fucking stupid. Or have 30,000 people listen. It's like, why? What? That's actually stupid as hell. Unless you're selling the CDs for like more than $10. Like
how does that change the industry though?
It changed the industry, and I'm saying that's stupid because if you're actually earning money off the streams yourself, and it's 30,000 people listening to you every month, you are getting these people to listen to you every month and give you money over every year, every month, and it's almost perpetuity. Versus you just sold 300 CDs and you never know if you're going to sell it to them again. So it's changed just in that way. The people who own the music are getting more money, are getting more profit. That's because it's just like how everything became subscription based. Like everything's a subscription. So they get in money. So because now you can make money, and now we have a good load of cash every month that we could depend on. So we could do different things with the money, and look at all these people we don't need, and we don't need to house any actual physical items anymore like that. It's completely changed for them. For the independent artists, you see all these people doing streams, and it changes your perception on what you need to try to achieve. which is like you think about everything in numbers and the wrong numbers when you should be thinking about it in people. So it's helpful and detrimental to the independent side, but overall to music in general, it's clearly helped it from where it was. It's without a doubt, it's made the music business more healthy than it was. And we talk about it. The problem is the stench of the blogosphere and that time period of artists not making money and music business failing kept into this decade, into this generation, when it's made more money. Everyone feels like, oh yeah, you don't make any money from streams. That's like the thought process, right? Which is true, but the business is making more money than ever. You know what I'm saying? It's making more profit, not more money. More profit than ever. So if the business is making more profit and these labels are making more profit and getting rid of dead weight, why aren't the artists making money? Simple. It was always built for the artist never to make money. It's just built that way. It's built for you to be a product. You're the product. And we're just gonna put a little cash in your pocket while we make 10x that like off of you. Happens all the time. And that's just that is the music business in a nutshell. You are a product. And if you are a product, you should probably own your own product. And that's where I'll be at. Just own your own product and own your own marketing distribution. And that's it.
All right. Let's let it go.
We out.